am Supreme, and my next Astro Oracle investigation today is May the 14th, 2025. It will be on Davante Richardson, who was last seen somewhere around July 20th to the 23rd, 2020. He left his home in Washington, D.C., and he told his mother in quotes he was on his way to go see Kanye West, literally to Kanye West's house in Wyoming. So he set out on this journey. His family actually reported him missing like 2 days later because they figured he's probably delusional. Who is on their way to go see Kanye West at his home in Wyoming? Okay, most people are on their way to a Kanye West concert, not Kanye West's actual house. Okay, so there may have been some type of a dash of mental health. And the reason why I say a dash of mental health was because although I watched some videos of Davante Richardson's movements and certain things that he said by recording on his phone, while they were doing investigations, I watched his body language. I watched how he talked. And I noticed all the lights are probably not on upstairs, but not to judge him because the lights that are on are extremely bright. Okay? This man has a whole website of amazing beats that he sells. Like, he is a producer. He produces music. He produces beats, and I can see where he sees himself helping Kanye West, because that's what he said he wanted to go do. He wanted to go help Kanye West. Okay, but apparently he doesn't know Kanye West. Kanye West doesn't know him. He's been tweeting Kanye West online and all this time, like they're having a regular conversation, but it's the kind of tweets where nobody's responding to him, not even Kanye West. So it's like, people just be looking at his tweets like, yeah, some, or the lights ain't on upstairs with this individual, But like I said, the lights that are on upstairs are very bright. He's not a dumb individual. We all got some lights missing upstairs. Some of the lights are blinking. Some of the lights are on their way out. Some of the bulbs are just burnt out up there. We all have that. I mean, that's just living life, and some of us just only have one light left up there, but a lot of us are like Davante. you know uh, we have ambition. We do have some loose marbles. We have a lot of habits and addictions that we battle with, but we also see these bright lights in our head and in our heart and in our spirit. These talents that we got, these gifts that we got, these unmistakable spiritual awarenesses that we have, these premonitions and these epiphanies that we have, but yet we're human. We're still battling with the flesh. We're battling with these habits and addictions that we have that contradict. Well, it gives people permission to contradict who we know we are on the inside. People will always point out something in your fleshly life that you do, or something about your fleshly life that will give them permission to judge your spiritual life and your spiritual awareness. And that's what we have to deal with. Okay, but when you know who you are, like I believe Davante Richardson knew who he was, sometimes we can appear delusional when we set out for these journeys and we start doing what we know. We start doing what we do, you know. And I believe that's the journey that Davante Richardson is on. I'm not going to say was on because I don't know if he's still alive or dead. But what I do know is that I'm about to conduct an Astro Oracle investigation, and y'all know how I get down. I'm going to get all the way down to the darkest root of this investigation using as much energy as I tap into based on this information that I have. Okay, so we're going to get right to it. Now, Davante Richardson, he set out on this journey to go see Kanye West, okay? A couple of days later, his Jeep was found 2,000 miles away from Washington, D.C., in a deserted, desolate area called, I think it was like Gray Bull, Wyoming, which was approximately about 20 to 30 miles away from Kanye West. Now, he went from 2,000 miles away from DC to actually only 20 miles away from Kanye West. A man that I believe he doesn't know Kanye West. He never spoke to Kanye West. I believe all of this delusion was going on in his head. Okay. I believe his gift, I believe his, and this is an honest judgment, I believe his ego was using his gift to talk to him. I'm going to let y'all marinate on that. That's the first time that phrase ever came out my mouth. And the way that I just said that just spoke volumes. I believe his ego used his gift to talk to him. And that's why he's hearing these voices. It's coming from his ego. Because the gift that he has is real. Okay, he has a website that's selling his beats for like $7,777. Okay, and then there's other beats that are $8,888. Okay, whoever's buying that, more power to you. I'm not. The beats are fly. The beats are fly, but $7,777. We're going to continue with this investigation. How about that? So, no sign of Davante anywhere. They found his Jeep. They found his Jeep in this desolate area. Now, catch this. Everything was in the Jeep but him. Okay? Now, where the Jeep was found, I'm going to put the picture up and show you. This is where the Jeep was found. Everything was in the car was performing correctly. No malfunctions, no flat tires, none of that. I hear the vehicle was out of gas. And that makes sense. You know, if it was abandoned in that area out of gas, and I'm quite sure he had to do a whole lot of walking, hauling, or whatever he did. But I'm almost afraid to say, did he walk? Because guess what? They didn't find no footprints outside of the vehicle. Nowhere. There were no footprints. Could you imagine a vehicle being in a place like that where they can't even track no footprints at all? That's what's baffling this investigation. Because everything is still in the vehicle. Even the keys are still in the ignition. Okay? Both of his phones are still in the vehicle. His laptop, where he does all of his business on, is still in the vehicle. The only thing that's gone is his clothes that he had when he left Washington, D.C. Davante Richardson has never been seen since that day he left DC. Now, I watched different investigations of it, and this is why I'm not going to argue about the date, whether he left July 20th or July 23rd. Some media says he left July 20th, and some media said they reported him missing July 27th, while the other media says that July 27th was the day that they found his vehicle 2,000 miles away from the Metropolitan Police in DC. Like, there's so much. So I just outruled the date, and I went on ahead and pulled a chart for Davante Richardson's birth date. So that way I will understand his energy. And then I did pull a chart from a day during that week that he was missing. And that is the chart for July 23rd, 2020. Okay, so I can use that chart. It may not have been that particular day, but I can definitely use that chart and compare it to his chart of the energies that were apparent and how they related to each other, and how I formulate this reading of how the energy played out and what it manifested during his journey. And we're going to get to the root of what happened and how that car ended up where it ended up, and where Davante Richardson is today. How about that? So please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell button so you will be notified of when I drop these investigations. Okay. Also in the link below is a Oracle tutorial. It is a Astro Oracle tutorial where you're able to go to that video and click on any sign, symbol, planet, number, house number that you want information on. So that way you can see how I formulate my stories. Okay. You will have general education on what that number means, what that house means, what that sign means, and what the planet means. Okay? So that way, when you see me pull that card, or you hear me talk about it in the chart, or you hear me point to it, you see me point to it, and I start formulating my story, you will see where I'm getting my answers from. So, Davante Richardson, okay, he was born June 9th, 1992. Okay, he produced beats, he was a producer, and his name was Blue Theory. He launched his website June 9th, 2020, a month before he was gone missing. And it's called Big Blues Studio. Blue Theory is what he went by. Big Blues Studio. Blue Theory of Big Blues Studio. The reason why I repeat that is because I'm conjuring up his energy. These candles that are lit sends a smoke signal out to the etheric realm that also conjures up his energy as well. But that's the fire aspect. Okay, I got to send that air up there too. Okay, that's why I speak it. Okay, so we're going to get down to the business of what's going on with Davante Richardson. Virgo in the 9th house. Okay, Virgo in the 9th house. The 9th house is the house of travel. That is the house of long distance travel. Okay? That is the house of long journeys. And that is the first chart that is pulled. And this is a 10th house chart. So this investigation is taking us to the 10th house, which is the house of fame, which is the house that Kanye West is in, and all of the famous artists are in. Whatever you are famous for is where you are located, is located in the 10th house. The 10th house is Capricorn's house. Okay? And that's why Capricorn comes first. When you see this card being pulled, Virgo in the 9th was the door that opened up that we need to come through in order to understand why Capricorn is rising during this investigation. Okay? So what happens when Virgo is in the 9th house? The energy of work, service, health, maintenance, okay, is in the 9th house of travel. Okay? Now, when it's in the 9th house of travel during a case where someone is missing and we don't know where they are, okay? Let's see what's going on in Virgo's house. Gemini, the 6th house. Virgo's house is the 6th house, but Virgo energy is in the 9th house of long distance travel. But in Virgo's actual house, I see Gemini energy, which is the energy of local travel. Okay? So what I'm seeing is I'm seeing somebody else in the picture. Somebody that Davante linked up with during his travels. And he met this person at work. He met this person that works in the local environment. Could be a fast food place. It could be a store that he stopped by. It could be a pit stop that he stopped by. But somebody works at a place that Davante went into, and he started having casual conversations with this individual, and they linked up. I'm seeing this person in the picture. I'm also seeing a crime that was committed too. That's why I'm going to go to my crime deck. Okay, I'm also seeing law enforcement. They're in the picture, but I'm going to get to how they fit into this picture too. I'm seeing a police officer. I'm seeing a police officer. Yes, definitely seeing an authority figure. Um, Also, in the investigations that I was looking at, it was seen in all of the investigations that somebody on their way to work reported the car that was found in this desolate field. And that's exactly what this card is. This card is the person that found him, that reported it on the way to work. Okay, because Virgo is the energy of work, and the ninth house is the energy of travel. He was out long distance from his home. Ninth house is long distance travel, whereas the third house is local travels from block to block, from borough to borough, probably city to city. But ninth house travel is like the airplane flying across the states, across the country, long distance travel. Okay? This is long distance travel. He was in a long distance place from his home. Okay? This is the worker that called in the car that was found in that desolate field. Now, this caller called in anonymously. And you know how I know this is the worker that was on their way to work? Because when I look inside of Virgo's house, which is the sixth house, I see Gemini. That is local travel. This person that lives long distance from him was on their way locally to work and reported the car in the desolate field. This is somebody that lives in that local environment and works in that local environment. Also, the fact that they called in anonymous, the authorities need to start investigating these anonymous callers, because I believe there are anonymous callers who are calling in their own crime as a way of covering it up. That's just my premonition. I'm going to pull this card because what I'm seeing is this anonymous caller. This anonymous person that was on their way to work. That is exactly what I'm seeing. So let's talk about this crime. Breach of contract in the 12th house. A breach of contract in the 12th house. Now, the contract, when it comes to breach of contract in a 10th house situation, okay, because Libra is in the 10th house, and that is the energy of obligations, legal contracts that are signed, okay? That is the legal obligation energy. That is the marriage energy. That is the energy of a person signing a legal agreement where they are obligated to fulfill this agreement and this contract. That is also Capricorn energy because the contract has to be approved by the judge, which is Capricorn energy. I believe, just by seeing this, he may have been caught up with law enforcement and they're not saying nothing because they don't have to. That's what I believe. Also, being that there's a breach of contract in the 12th house, that's where Sagittarius is. And the first house card that came out was Virgo in the ninth house. The ninth house is Sagittarius's house. That's Sagittarius's house. So it's something that the Sagittarius energy is the energy of this breach of contract. And it's in the 12th house. So this breach of contract means that there was an agreement that was broken. There was an agreement that was broken, a hidden agreement. Okay? There was something, there was an agreement that was made during these travels that wasn't met. Yeah, There was an agreement that was broken. The agreement was not met, and it was hidden. I do remember seeing some parts of the investigation where he was texting saying, meet me halfway. Whoever he was talking to, I don't know. Um, I don't know. Kanye West never heard of him. So he say. You know, another speculation is that he may have actually tried to show up at Kanye's house and they took him hostage and probably did something to him. And you know they're not going to talk because they got money to keep their mouth shut. They got money to pay people to keep their mouth shut. You'd be surprised how many people go missing and dead where people who are responsible for their death are people who have the money to keep it concealed. Anytime you live in a world where you can post bond, which should be illegal for people who committed a crime, but there should be no such thing as a bond when you commit a crime. But apparently there is. So what does that say? That means that that means that you can literally murder as long as you have enough money. That means you can kill people as long as you have enough money to. And you don't have to go to jail. You can literally save up money and go commit a crime. And then if they arrest you, you can post bond. And post bond and then go do something to the people that got you arrested. But that's America for you. That's the world. Find out who did it. Who's responsible? A conspirator in the 10th house. Of course. Because this is a 10th house. This is a 10th house reading. Okay? This is a 10th house chart. This is a 10th house investigation. Okay? It took us, the first card that came out let us know that this is a 10th house investigation. And guess who this conspirator is? The person conspiring is the partner. Davante was not alone. Look in the 10th house. You see Libra. That's the energy of not only the obligation and the contracts, that is also, like I said, marriage, partnership. That is relationship. Libra energy is relationships, partnerships, the significant other. Libra energy is not you. Libra energy is your spouse, your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your significant other, your probation officer, okay? The person you have a legal obligation to. Your wife, your husband, he was not alone. Davante Richardson was not alone. The conspirator is in the 10th house. I'm going to pause this and find my planetary alignment that I did for that day, because I'm going to let y'all know where Venus was at. Okay, I'm back. I got my planetary. I'm supposed to get this stuff together before I turned on the video. This thing was sitting so heavy in my spirit, I just had to hurry up to the camera to record while it was still in my spirit, because that's when I get the most accurate readings, when it's on my spirit. Okay, so like I said, I pulled a chart from July 23rd because I can still work for whether he was missing July 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. I could still use this chart because the only planet that would have changed positions during that time frame is the moon. So, and that's going to help me because I was going to use the moon anyway to track the positioning of what's happened. Where was the moon at when they found the vehicle? You know, where was the moon at when he left town? And where was the moon at while he was on the road? Because that helps me do the reading on the type of activities that took place. I pulled the birth chart for his date of birth. I located where the planets were when he was born. Okay, and I also located where the planets were when the 2016 Jeep Compass that he was driving was made, when it was first released. That is the birth chart of the 2016 Jeep Compass, September 27th, 2016. So I know where the planets were at that time. So I know the energies that govern that vehicle. Because see, this is all about energies. I'm reading the birth chart of Davante to read the energies that govern his existence. Okay, and then I'm reading the planetary energies of the time that he was missing that governs all the activities of everything underneath the sun and the moon at that time, at those specific times. So the reason why I paused the video is because I wanted to locate where Venus was, being that this conspirator card came out. And this conspirator card rules Libra, which is the energy of the partner. So the conspirator is the partner, somebody he was with, plotting. Okay, it's a conspiracy. Now, Venus was in Gemini. That's what I remember. Venus was in Gemini. Okay, that lets me know where this partner was, what kind of partner this was. And if you look in the sixth house, like I said in the beginning of the video, when that Virgo card was pulled, Venus is in Gemini in Virgo's house, the sixth house. That person that he met, whether at a pit stop, at a restaurant, or at a store, he met somebody during his travels, and this person was at work. And if this is not the person that he met at the pit stop, this Venus in Gemini collaboration, connection, and relationship that leads to this person being the conspirator is the anonymous caller that called in saying that there is a vehicle down this desolate road and they wanted to remain anonymous. They need to start questioning these anonymous people. Stop allowing people to remain anonymous. You need to know when you make that phone call, you are officially a part of the investigation. And they should, you know what I'm saying? That you should be questioned. If not, don't get into it. I feel like if they don't come for you, don't come for them. Because if you come for them, they have a right to question you. This is my lost and found. This is going to help us find some things. We're looking for Davante Richardson. We know where his car is. We know where his car is. We know where his car is. I feel like this is somebody he met at the fast food restaurant too, because with Venus being in Gemini, which is in the house of work, which is somebody that was working in a local environment, okay? Mercury is a planet that rules Gemini, okay? So if you want to find out, to deepen the investigation into what kind of job this was and the nature of this whole connection, all I got to do is follow Mercury. And Mercury at that time was in Cancer. Okay? Cancer is the energy of the home, family, the mother. Cancer is also the energy of cooking, food, family reunions. Okay? And when it's linked into the sixth house, which is what it is right here, it's talking about somebody that works in their local fast food place, a local place that sells food. I hope y'all are utilizing my tutorial. So you don't think I'm just up here talking shit. You can go and see it for yourself. That's why I created the tutorial video. All right. So where is Davante Richardson? Show me where Davante Richardson is at. Whether he's alive or dead. Where is Davante Richardson? 12th house, a wooded area. That doesn't sound like he's alive. A wooded area in the 12th house. If you look in the 12th house again, like breach of the same card that came out with this breach of contract is made in Sagittarius's image. Okay, that was a contract involving travel. Sagittarius is the energy of travel, exploration, long journeys, which is what he was on, a long journey out of town. Sagittarius is out of town energy. Gemini is the opposite of Sagittarius. That's in town energy. That's where he met the conspirator, the person that he's with. He wasn't alone, but that person he's with is an in town. Gemini energy is in town. Speaking of in town, I wonder if they still have the in-town motels and hotels. I wonder if those are still in existence. Because I just might have said something. I'm going to look that up in Graybull to see if there's any in-towns in there. Because this person might just be living in a hotel. Or he may have been at a hotel. Because I'm quite sure he had to do some rest stops. But then again, he might not have. Because it was only about 48 hours later when they found his vehicle 2,000 miles away from D.C. But back to this wooded area. I believe this. Energy doesn't lie. As much as I want to believe that he's alive, I don't think he's alive. And if he is, he's in a wooded area. But I'm quite sure he's not. But his remains can be found in a wooded area in the 12th house, out there in Gray Bull. Out there in that area. It's out of town. Nowhere near where he's from, of course. But it's not far from his vehicle. It's in that area, in a wooded area in the 12th house. It's hidden. It's not only in a wooded area, it's encapsulated, like it's like in a bag, or it's buried. Now, let's get in deeper into this wooded area. Now we're going in the woods. Now that we in the woods, we need to follow Jupiter, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. And Jupiter, at that time, was in Capricorn, in the first house. That's why this whole chart was pulled. Capricorn in the first house. When Jupiter is in Capricorn and his body's in a wooded area, I want to say law enforcement. I really do. I want to say law enforcement because I saw it in the beginning. I see a police officer. As much as I don't want to say the police officer was involved in the disappearance, or if not the disappearance, the hiding of the body and the evidence, as much as I want to say that, no, it can't be law enforcement. That's what I see, though. I see law enforcement. Yep. I see law enforcement playing a role in this disappearance and the hiding of the body in this wooded area. Even when I followed Jupiter, it led me to law enforcement. This is a whole law enforcement chart. The 10th house. Go look at the 10th house in my tutorial. It'll tell you fame, success, law enforcement, the government, all of that. Now, the 12th house is Pisces house. So while we're in the woods, let's look at where Pisces is at. Pisces energy is in the 3rd house. That's Gemini's house. That's Gemini's house. That's where he met the conspirator, the partner. That's where he met the person that was with him. This person that was with him was supposed to be helping him. Maybe he ran out of money. And maybe there was a degree of neediness with these individuals that he was linking up with because he was running out of money. But now that we in these woods, I'm going to pull some evidence. Now that we in these woods, I'm going to pull some evidence. I just saw Davante getting a job. I just saw him, yep, because Davante's sun is in Gemini and his moon is in Libra. And according to the chart that was pulled, Gemini is in the house of work and Libra is in the 10th house. And this is a 10th house chart that was pulled. And the first card that was pulled is the work card, the out of town work card. This is the out of town work card. Look it up for yourself. Maybe he might have asked for a job, because I know I did see somewhere in the investigations that he was going through job problems, like he was going through a tough time at home. So he left home like he had nothing to lose. He lost his job. He was working at a grocery place, and he was a good worker. He went from stocking food down the aisles to being a manager, a supervisor, manager. So maybe he tried to get a job out there in Wyoming. Maybe he had no intentions of coming back to DC. He might just be living there under a different alias, but not when the wooded area card comes out in the 12th house, unfortunately. And that Pisces energy is in the local environment. It's hidden though. It's concealed. His body is concealed in something. It's like wrapped up in a bag, or Pisces does represent the water. And if it is, it's a large body of water that's in a wooded area, surrounded by some woods. It's a large body of water. I see that, but I also see it's like in a bag. Yeah, I believe he was networking. Like he was getting in good with the people in the town, but I think he was talking too much because he got that Mercury in Gemini. He's already a Gemini with a moon in Libra. That's double air. You know, when you have when the sun and the moon is in the air sign, like he was an airhead. Not in a negative term, but an airhead means somebody that's pure logic. You got to literally damn near try to hurt their feelings to make them catch feelings. They say, do you even have a heart? Do you even have emotions? Do you even care? So airheads are people that are pure logic. It almost seems like they have no emotion, but they do. It's just that's not what governs their existence. They're governed by logic. So I feel like Davante was an airhead. You have fireheads, you have waterheads. Okay, you have earth heads, and then you have airheads. He was an airhead. Pure air, pure intellect, pure social skills. And I could see that even with him producing beats. His intellect was very sharp and harmonious because that moon in Libra would have made his beats beautiful. He had that gift of being able to harmonize instruments. He had a harmonious intellect. Those were them bright lights that just, it covered up the missing lights. And his Venus was in Gemini. All right. Digital evidence and documents in the sixth house. That is where Gemini is. This Gemini keeps coming out. It keeps linking us to Gemini energy. If it's not Gemini energy, it's Gemini's house, the third house. Okay? But the sixth house, if you look in the sixth house, you will see Gemini again. That is the conspirator's energy. Okay? That is the conspirator's energy. That is the person, when you check his phone, that is the person who he's with, who he's linked up with, who he was talking with. Once they go through that person's phone and his phone, they will locate that person. Because in his phone, you'll be able to locate the conspirator that he's with. Even if they don't have the body with them, long as you find that conspirator and that person that he was collaborating with in that local environment, they got information that they need to locate his body. Digital evidence and documents in the sixth house. Digital evidence and documents in the sixth house. That is where Gemini is. Mars, which is the planet of war, which is a planet that has a very common denominator in crimes, Mars in Aries. And it just so happened, Mars was in Aries when Davante was born. He has a Mars in Aries energy. That's the most raw and unfiltered warlike energy. So that lets me know that he's a person, he's not afraid of guns, he's not afraid of violence. Okay, he's not afraid, he can embrace fire. So I'm quite sure he has some firearms. Okay, and he was around people that carried firearms. Okay, I'm not saying a firearm was involved in this crime, but he had a firearm ability to be able to embrace firearms. He probably knew how to shoot really well. Also, during the duration of the time that he was missing, Mars was also in Aries. So there just may have been some crime going on, but that can only be confirmed if the moon was passing through either Aries or Scorpio during the duration that he was missing. If there was a crime involved, it would have happened while the moon was in Scorpio, because Scorpio, Mars rules Scorpio and Aries, but Scorpio is the hidden aspect of this raw and uncut crime. And July 23rd, which was around the time where he was missing, the moon was in Virgo. It went into Libra the next day, July 24th. He called his mother July 24th and told her that he was okay. So his mother heard from him on the 24th. So we could even go from there, because the moon was in Libra. It went into Libra on the 24th, and the moon only stays 2 days, 2.5 days in a sign, in an energy. So it stayed in Libra for the 24th, the 25th, and pretty much all of the 26th, and it went into Scorpio that night, leading into the 27th, which was during the time when they said they found that vehicle. Some people say they found the vehicle on the 29th, and then some people say they found the vehicle, some videos say they found the vehicle on the 27th. Either way it go, the moon was in Scorpio. The moon was in Scorpio. So along with them finding that vehicle, there may just have been a crime that took place. There just may have been a crime that took place. Because like I said, being that Davante's Mars is in Aries, and also the time that he was missing, Mars was in Aries. If the moon would have moved into Aries instead of Scorpio, the crime would have been broadcasted. You would have seen it all over the news. But being that the moon moved into Scorpio, there was a crime that could have happened, but you wouldn't know. It would be undercover because Scorpio energy is the undercover. So, before I end this video, I'm going to pull a chart. I'm going to pull Davante's birth chart. Because, see, he had a sun in Gemini and he had a moon in Libra. Y'all know how I formulate my charts. I put the moon sign inside of the sun season. So the sun season was Gemini. It was Gemini season when he was born. But he had a moon in Libra. So when the moon is in Libra in Gemini's house, Gemini's season, Leo is rising. He had a fifth house chart. Of course he did. He was a producer. He was an entertainer. He had talent, skill. You know, he wanted to be in the music industry. That's what this house is all about. The entertainment industry. The fifth house. Lights, camera, action. That's Leo energy. The spotlight. The stage. Attention seeking. He was seeking attention for his productions. Of course. He was in the fifth house. Now, let's look at, because he was definitely a networker. Definitely a networker. Okay? And in the fifth house, in his birth chart, when I look at this Mars in Scorpio, because I'm looking at his most raw and uncut energy, would have played out in the house of long distance travel. Oh, because he pursued Wyoming from Washington, D.C., whether he had to walk there. He was going to get there. He wasn't going to let nothing come between him and meeting Kanye, going to Kanye's house. He was like, fuck going to the concert. I'm going to this Negro's house. Who does that? I'm quite sure he didn't make it because nobody can just do that. They have security and stuff like that. And Kanye don't know who he is. They investigated Kanye West. Kanye West and his group, his team, never heard of this Davante Richardson character. Never. And I believe them. But that Mars and Aries played out for Davante. He used that energy to travel across the country. That's exactly what I see right here. Raw and uncut. And he let people know, I'm going to Wyoming. Instead of them trying to figure out, his family didn't say, oh, well, I don't know where my baby's at. That would have been pretty much Mars and Scorpio. Mars and Scorpio is the type, the moves that they make, you have to try to figure that shit out. And 9 times out of 10, you won't. Because Scorpio is very sneaky and undercover. But when Mars is in Aries, which is the sign that it also rules, it's raw and uncut. They're going to let you know, I'm going to Wyoming. They probably like, what, 2,000 miles? And you're going to drive? He's like, yup. That's how that energy played out. That's the type of individual, even if they was going to hurt you, they'll let you know. They won't sneak you like a Mars and Scorpio. Mars and Aries will let you know, I'm coming to fuck you up. And then even if the other person be like, yeah, okay, whatever. 5 minutes later, you'll hear Mars and Aries at the door. If they even knock, because Mars and Aries might bust your shit open. Oh, because they say they do what they say they're going to do, and they let you know they're going to do it. Because they don't care how prepared you get. Good luck trying to protect yourself from them. Mars in Scorpio operates different, though, which is why the fact that the moon was able to enter Scorpio instead of Aries during the duration of time that he was missing lets me know that's an indicator that there is a crime that played out. Something happened. But it's going to take the investigators, a really strong team of investigators, to uncover the mystery of what happened because it happened under a Scorpio moon. But yet Mars was in Aries. A Scorpio moon triggers Mars energy and Pluto energy. And where was Pluto at during that duration? Pluto was in Capricorn. And this is a Capricorn house crime and investigation. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. This, something happened. Something happened. I'm going to have to do a part two because I'm going to watch out for any type of information that pops up. And if y'all have any information that can confirm this reading, let me know in the comments. But I'm going to keep watch of this investigation to see what comes out. But I'm almost certain Davante Richardson is no longer with us. I'm almost certain. And that's going to be sad when we find that out. You know, especially for his family. No mother wants to lose their child. I don't care whether your child is slow, got missing marbles, retarded, Down syndrome, whether your child's a murderer or whether your child's whatever they are. No parent wants to lose their child. Your mother will be the only one in court for all your trials until your last day. And your mother will be there till you take your last breath. You only get one mother in life. So, you know, it's going to be hard on his mother. No matter what you go through with your child, you always love your mother. You always love your children. So, with that being said, I'm going to end this investigation for now. If y'all have any questions and concerns, reach out to me either in the comments or you can reach out to me in my email in the link below. If you would like a personal reading with me, reach out to my email as well in the link below. Y'all be blessed.